che mamari nina. Tuda la la ba. Kopana, lana, tula ba.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So today I'm happy to be here and introducing you to Maraya, who I've known for a long time. She's played quite a big part in my journey of self-discovery and personal growth over the years. I haven't done work with you in a while, Maraya, and you've been journeying all over the planet for the last few years. So I haven't seen you in person for a while, but it's really, really nice to have you here and invite you to share some of your observations and your wisdoms and with us here in the crowning series. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, and for starting, would you give a little introduction of yourself and your work? And yeah, that'd be great.
So I would say my mastery is really the timelines and dimensions. I have studied in the schools of higher learning. I've studied addiction, sexual abuse, and I'm studying surgery at the moment. And a higher light level, I work with the Galactic Federation and also with the Galactic Council. And of course, alongside Ashtar the Command to execute those decisions. I'm a wisdom keeper, an earth keeper, and a light keeper. So I know how to command the light. So I have the codes of creation with the Elohim. I work with the Elohim. And that's like the underlying program before form comes into being through the elements of earth, water, and fire. And then I have the sounds of creation from the avatars. So it's different because the sounds push the light threads into the patterns of the original blueprint, where the codes are more of the program.
Yeah, that's a place where I think you and I meet quite well with the sounds. That's where I've been moving more and more into now that I'm individuating more as well. Doing the sound work. It's really good to be doing it more full time now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fulfilling.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I remember actually when you first started working with your voice, I went for a session with you in Scarborough, where you used to live in South Africa, and you were a little bit shy because you had to sing and you weren't used to it yet. But you did it, and it was fantastic. And it's been amazing to kind of witness you from a distance since then, just growing in. It's really awesome. So cool.
Thank you. Yeah, the awakening process is a journey. Wow. That's up to all of us.
Yeah. I feel like just because I know that there are some people who are watching here who might not be able to understand what you just said about yourself. I wonder if you've got like a translation format that you use to, I know there also are lots of people who will know what you're talking about, and I do. But just for the sake of bridging worlds, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of the way form, with the light of the Elohim, how form comes into being would be through the elements of earth, water, air, and fire. So the translation and consciousness would be where earth is the physical body, water is the emotional body, air is the mental body, and fire is the spirit body. These are the lower four bodies, which is also the cross and the circle, our earth symbol. Mm-hmm. So when we balance those, we then come into vertical alignment, which is the light of the soul, ether. And so what I do basically with the Elohim is, and aligning the timelines, because on the karmic timelines, your soul believes it grows through pain and suffering. On the Christed timelines, or the Christ-aligned, crystalline timelines, your soul knows it grows through love. So I line up, if you can imagine the timelines to be circles and cycles. And so what I do is I line them up. And then I look for patterns, distorted patterns in the body through all 4 bodies, and then line up those timelines where those distortions are, through time and space, because all consciousness is now, and it's running through time and space. And then I take them out. The way I take them out is through the process of photosynthesis, actually. I bounce them through I embody the consciousness of that which is, because I have the codes to lock into the consciousness. I can unlock anything. And once I become the consciousness of that which is, I'm able to bounce it into the light through my own body. So that would be the work. And then the same with activating. So whether I'm clearing distortions, or then in that space that's created from the clearing, I like to return the blueprint. So this would be when you're in vertical alignment, it's your soul signature frequencies, your light, uniting heaven and earth coming together, uniting with Mother Nature, which is our divine nature, right? So if you look at the light, and this is what's so beautiful about the heart of our Creator, is the light of our Creator has characters in it, and this is the elemental kingdom. So the Elohim creates form under the guidance of the Deva kingdom and the elemental kingdom. And the elemental kingdom are like, if you can imagine, to be the fairies and the dwarves and the pixies and the elves and so on. And it gets, they're actually quite a little bit higher. Below them, you've got the little characters that make up each individual blossom and leaf and so on. And that light of our Creator, that's how you identify it. We call it the Holy Spirit, because the spirit body is the fire, right, as well. So, and anything that doesn't have the elemental kingdom in it is not the divine nature or Mother Nature of being here. So what I do is I take out any distortions, or, you start to look higher than that. Those distortions start to get, personalities, characters. Some of those characters or characteristics are actual beings that are on the lower astral realms that we've, magnetized as an equal vibration in a trauma. I'm getting a bit lost in the story here. There's so much to it, but and then basically just either taking the characteristics out, taking the distortion out, and then returning the blueprint. The blueprint is, I would say, in its purest form, it's the God named Yahweh, Yadevade. And but of course, through all 4 bodies, it's unique to each soul. And each soul is a unique frequency of its own. And so then lining them up and calling in those soul signature frequencies. Sometimes if you're going to call in the light, then one has to command the fire elementals. So I call them. And for example, if I'm working through the mists of time and we need to lift the mists, I would call the fire elementals, commanding the light, calling them. And then those threads of light come down into the mists of time and burn off. We work with the story of nature, because the story of Mother Nature, her landscapes are the landscapes of our consciousness. We know the stillness of the desert, we've lived there. We know the embrace of the forest, because the cacophony of sounds of the nature and the nature spirits and the creatures, we know that we've lived in the forest. We know the wild emotions of the ocean and the shifting tides and currents, because we are it. And we know the wisdom of the mountains, because in our hearts we have a wise sage who lives in the cave of the heart, and holds our book of knowledge. So when we enter the heart, we have it. We know how to metamorphosize. We are the butterfly. We know how to trust when we are in free fall, because we are the waterfall. And the most important one today is we know how to rebalance ourselves after a storm, to the dawning of a new day, because this is where we are in consciousness. That's what we're busy doing.
Yeah. So there we go. You've just led into now, which is where I was going next. Fantastic. I'm so curious, because I know from working with you myself that you work with, I would call it the mytho-reality, the way that and for me, I also, when I open up a field to work in it with my voice, and I'm seeing what's there, then it presents itself like a mytho-reality, and with symbols and stories and unfoldings and things like this. And I'm super curious, and I can also hear from what you're saying that since I've done work with you, you've also shifted a lot, and there's a whole lot of new tech that you're working with, technology, and which is awesome. It's super cool. It's kind of sparking things all over, and it's lovely. Yeah, but like I'm really curious to ask you to go back a little bit in time through this whole. I refer to it as this crowning process that we're in. You know, um, it can be very easily identified by the corona story, the coronavirus story, um, and I'm not sure if you've been working primarily with humans or primarily with the earth or both, but I'm interested in how you've noticed the story to be unfolding and changing as compared to before, and um, you know, and getting a sense also of hmm, the way unfolding in a sense as well. Not asking you to get prophetic or anything like that, but I know that when you're watching lots of story threads and or song lines, you could say even, and singing together with them and observing them and co-creating with whatever you're co-creating with, then you're going to be seeing patterns in probably, I'm imagining that you're going to be seeing patterns, you know, with different individuals or and the earth and locations and whatever.
So I don't, primarily work with the vaccine teams. As my work is in different realms, but I can tell you from my own experience with my clients what I do experience. So first of all, following the laws, I have a good understanding of the laws of this universe, and following the laws, first of all, the light of creation is accessible to all creator beings. But the creators of, or the heart of our creator through the nature spirits, one needs to remember that those have characters in them. So any light that doesn't have the elemental kingdom in it is not the light of the heart of our creator. It's just patterns of light that are not the blueprint and can, are interfering with the blueprint design, causing, in some cases, separation. And, it has different effects on different people. And also the intention with which that light or that creator being has patterned that light has an effect on the person it's put into. So when I do take out vaccines, so when I first started taking them out, I'm not working in the physical body because I'm working in all the other bodies.
Yeah.
So, it's not like going to, drink a plant medicine, which is going to purge you, for example, because the plants are the nature kingdom, right? And they will purge you of that if it's not the blueprint, because they unite you with the planet. So it takes a while for it actually to land in the body, although I see it cleared from the spirit body and, and so on, and the emotional and mental bodies. It does seem to, each one has its own way of separate or not, affecting the blueprint or separating the person or whatever. The part I found so interesting recently is that in that separation, in the beginning, I was only taking out the vaccine, but what I'm seeing now is that it's a free fall. In the separation, every optimist on the planet, or not optimist, every opportunist on the planet that's in consciousness has access to that, through the distortion can access the body. So I'm not just taking out the vaccine now, I'm taking out opportunists and I'm taking out other interference, which is coming in as a result of the vaccine. So, it's getting more challenging. I used to take out 2 or 3 interferences and now I'm taking out 20.
It's created a big crack. It's creating big cracks, essentially, that, I mean, if I look at, if I had an image now of like a crack opening in a person's field and a whole lot of light pouring out of it, because that is the person is light. And then it like being a beacon, and then, opportunists, inviting an opportunist or attracting. What do the what now opportunists? What would you kind of describe them as? If you do you see them in
well, we wonderful batteries, aren't we, of sources of energy, right? Like our kundalini, which is that's what the energy force looks like, is the serpent. That is the energy of the earth plane, right? Everything is the serpent and follows laws as well. So, for example, the first and second dimension is west and east, completion and new beginnings. And for the serpent to move forward, it has to move from west to east. So there are these laws that one follows of rising consciousness. For me, I'm so busy when I'm busy doing the work. I'm so busy trying to reunite, to clear that which is in between the reunification of the person soul light to the earth, to the nature spirits, that it feels to me like those people that are, or those whatever's coming in is finding the person useful to themselves for their own, whatever their agenda is. Each one has its own agenda. Nothing is the same. Everybody is different. Every being is different. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
You can't really generalize. Yeah. Well, they don't like it.
That's quite a thing. Have you? I'm just thinking. I wonder if there's like a thing that people can do with their own utilizing their own awareness and their own free will choice to kind of keep themselves clear,
Well, I do have a lot of cases where one partner in the, or like in divorces as well, but even in marriages where one partner is vaccinated and the other isn't, and then there's an imprint in the one who's not vaccinated. That imprint comes in different ways as well. It doesn't always appear in the same way, depending on what the person's issues are or weaknesses are, is how the imprint appears. Also, just to make it clear that I don't think for me the vaccination is the issue. For me, the issue is actually that free will, that we're fighting for free will here, that we have the choice of whether we want to, because different people have different belief systems, and it's important to respect different belief systems. No two people think alike, and the way we think is influenced by our many lifetimes that we've lived. And to just honor that and say, we're learning. We don't only learn from the light, we learn from our suffering, and we learn from the dark as well. And I'm not saying that this is dark, I'm saying it's a free will choice. I just think that the important part of the vaccine is that we have the free will to choose whether we want to learn from it or not, or we want to experience or not. But in terms of the imprint, affecting us, yes, I'm seeing that all the time. My advice would be is the divine blueprint is Mother Nature. Put Mother Nature into your body in her purest form. Don't put chemicals, anything that comes out of a laboratory, anything that is outside the laws of nature, don't put it into your body. Try and avoid, walk in nature, stay in nature, spend time in nature. Anything that is Mother Nature is the blueprint. Unite yourself with Mother Nature through all four bodies. In other words, your physical body through what you're putting in your body, your emotional body, how you are feeding your emotional body in terms of nature, walking in nature. I mean, that's also the spirit, but yeah, you've got to work through all four bodies as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The content you put in through social media and whatever.
All of it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen similar things happening with people who aren't vaccinated who've got corona as well, where there's like it opens space for more to come in. I got last year, I had long COVID for 4 months, and what came in was also, and it was actually such a great blessing. I really, really shifted so much in my being in the process, and learned so much about myself and all that jazz. But the weakness that the virus created in my field allowed all sorts of other things to come in as well, which was actually kind of more of the challenge, was dealing with those other things, because they were projections from other people, and those people were like, so clear it and then come back again because there's still a weakness here. So, I mean, have you noticed that kind of thing as well with people who've got the virus? How's your interaction with the virus been?
My experience of it has been that the level of pain and my understanding of it is that the level of pain and suffering is that we hold within ourselves is the level, that the degree to which we experience it. If you look at the kind of principles behind it, originally was that people were dying from suffocation. Well, suffocation is drowning in our own pain and suffering, isn't it? It's like that's what the experience of it is. Now, in terms of suffocation, isn't that what we're doing to the waters of the earth? Aren't we getting to experience what we're doing through our own experience of ourselves? Aren't we getting to experience what Mother Earth is experiencing? The suffocation of the emotional body, our own pain and suffering and disconnection. So I would say it's definitely, you definitely build an immunity to it, but how much suffering you have in you also, I don't know, that was my experience of it, is also, how much fear I was carrying was the degree of the intensity that I experienced it at.
No, me too. I think the reason why in my story why I got the long one was because I had so many kind of interwoven frequencies that I'd invited in and that I've been kind of using to find myself, over the years, because this one has got a whole lot, but it hasn't got, and then this one comes, and then, and I had to clear all of them and just be left with me, so that's why I think that was. But I've been seeing interesting with the Omnicron one. I love Omnicron. It's just opens up people's opens up the fears and the shadow stuff that some people that I know who've got Omnicron, they have got such a huge capacity for meeting with kind of shadow things and stuff like that with love, without in a non-dual way. But with the Omnicron, they were taken fully into it, so that they fully felt the depression or the whatever that they don't usually feel, because they're able to kind of stand in neutral. So I thought that was really interesting as well in terms of stretching the human experience to include more realization of the kind of collective experience of the earth body and all of the children of earth and all of the, that was
I think with viruses, the body does adjust itself, right? So we do go through a transformation to adjust to the pattern of it. When I asked originally, like, what am I actually looking at here? Because I was trying to look for, the creator being. I couldn't find anything. So I asked, the message I was given was, the plants, the chemicals we're putting on the plants is the problem. So, and I often tell people that, when I was studying in the schools of addiction, is if you take a beautiful 25-liter container full of chemicals and go and pour it over your beautiful flower garden, it's the same. The body takes a chance. It takes a while to recover from all those chemicals being poured over your flowers. You can imagine what it does to the flowers. And as we know, the Garden of Eden, or Paradise Returned, is really the geometries, the nature story of the flower of life, the tree of life, the seed of life, and the fruit of life. This is, one of the key stories to our creational process. So I think with the virus, it is I want to say an upgrade or an adjustment, a transformation. But we do need to look at how it's coming from, working outside the laws of nature, the laboratory, and the chemicals. Yeah,
it's very interesting that, hey, it's like it almost seems to me like there's there's a jester in the house, like there's a very sneaky maneuver going on, which is kind of undercover agent, you know, operating to get some frequency in that's necessary, that's really actually very helpful in so many ways. But at the same time, it's causing so much. Such a big interference as well. But it's almost like without this interference, then I guess, you know, there's other ways we could have done this. We could have really done this in other ways.
You know, with the Galactic Federation, some of the work that I've been doing is there are beings with their own agendas, you know, and again, opportunists. And those it's chemical warfare. You know, so some of that is being sprayed, it's being injected, we're getting interfered with for various reasons, actually. But, you know, I've been taking out, with the Galactic Federation, I've been taking out creator beings that are opportunists, that are creating viruses and dropping them onto the earth plane, you know. So, and of course, yeah, I mean, every energy has a grid that holds it. You know, it doesn't matter if it's one frog or whether it's something that's you know, like a little virus. It's created, it has a grid. So it's a challenge, you know. We have a lot that we're dealing with at the moment as humans.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just feeling into it's really nice. I'm feeling into how, you know, it's really wonderful to talk to you, and because you've got such a clear viewing point, you know, of the reality that's so different to most people. And certainly to me, it makes a lot of sense. And it's really nice to hear it spoken so nicely and well. And I kind of feel like, okay, so, you know, I think it can be really helpful to for people to see everything from a different point of view, you know.
I think experience is the teacher, and I'm working with you know, people every single day looking at their patterns, you know. So the designs of creation, I mean, I would say the minute you land on the earth plane, the position that you land in relation to the stars, which is the blueprint design, the stars are the design of our creation, right? Each star has its own light thread, its own frequency, its own gift of light. And so I understand very much the principles of creation, and each of us comes and lands, and we have this experience here. And when I start to look at the patterns from the blueprint design, the stars, the unconscious, it's the night sky, the daytime is the consciousness. Because I'm digging around in the unconscious to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And through that experience, I have my own understanding of consciousness. And of course, with the ability to work with the timelines through time and space, you know, I'm able to clear a lot of the suffering that comes with the karmic timelines. And now my favorite thing to do is to return the higher dimensional timelines. And I'm hoping actually to do some groups where people get to do it for themselves. I just unlock the timelines and let people have the experience, because at the moment I do all the work and I record it, and then they listen to the movie of their consciousness. And I'm wanting people to experience it for themselves, to go and fetch it for themselves. I mean, we all have master teachers and guides, and those master teachers and guides are totally with us all the time and will open us to our own unique gifts. And each one of us is a puzzle piece. We are co-creating here. We are all receptors and transmitters of light. And it's time for us to materialize that, you know, not just in the higher realms, but, you know, as above, so below. So let's materialize it as co-creators, the word being that we are all creator beings. We have the ability to do this, especially if we know our soul purpose. And, you know, and each one of us has a soul purpose, and no two are the same. It's all unique. That's the beauty of it.
I think that's so much what seems to be going on at the moment. I don't know. You know, I'm doing this. I think I told you a bit about it in the email, this mission with the mountains here in the Western Cape. I was asked to go to the different chakra points that Dean Laprini found, and following the order of the labyrinth, the Rainbow Labyrinth, following that pathway through the chakra system, it's a manifestation pathway. to sing. I had to ask permission first from the mountains. They gave me permission, and they're helping. They're helping with the humanity, with the collective, with the shift. I had to sing the song at each place that arose, with the intention to support the divine child frequencies, really awakening and aligning and balancing with the mother father energies inside human form.
Peaceful.
Yeah. And with this dark moon, this new moon that's just happened, we've just entered into the labyrinth. So in the beginning of the year, I had to get to the center of the labyrinth by the winter solstice, or the solstice that's just passed, the December solstice, which I did just in time. I got into the center on that day. The throat was really challenging. Me, I sing and I sat down to sing and I got so shy. Suddenly, it was very funny. But yeah. But I'm in the center, but now, and then the first two things I had to do was open up the Earth Star Chakra and the Sun Star Chakra, and together with in the body of human inside with the mountains. And so that happened. Those two attunements went out in January, and now in February we've just stepped into the labyrinth. So we're in the solar plexus, in the yellow, in the fire, and all about intention setting. And it seems like so much is going on around people getting really shifted into purpose and being really called to step into and seek and uncover and discover what is my purpose. It seemed this is such a big part of this crowning story, I think. The purpose thing. Of course it is. How can you wear a crown if you're not inside with your purpose?
Well, in terms of the key stories to creation, all the stories, like you spoke of the mythology earlier, if you think you're landing the kingdoms of heaven, each person's kingdom needs a king and a queen, right? So that is the self-empowered self, and that's also it's lovely that you were just talking about the solar plexus, because that also plays a role, of course. And it's also that golden yellow light, isn't it? Of this golden age of light. So it's all linked.
Yeah.
And each of us, I think, what's very with the awakening process, what's becoming very evident is that people need meaningfulness in their life, and that comes through purpose. So knowing what your purpose is brings meaning. Otherwise, there's no meaning. We don't feel meaningful. We don't feel like we have a purpose. We feel empty. We feel lost. We feel abandoned. We feel, everything that's in the spaces in between, right? Because it's when we connected to the stars, between here and the other stars, in the spaces in between, we get a little bit lost. And the starlight, or the light of our creation, is the connection to our design, the purpose that we're originally intended to be here for.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens, or to experience and witness and feel what happens, next month with the next new moon. Then we're moving into the Hara, and when I was doing the singing process, that was the most difficult one. I was taken out for 4 days. I was even like the day that I was supposed to go and sing it. That morning, sometime early in the hours, then something, I think a spider bit me in my eye. And so I had a big eye like this. And now I was told to film this stuff and make it, just go totally open, vulnerable, put it on YouTube. So that's also on YouTube, all of those things, or they're being put on. So it was like, what do I do now? 4 days, and the timeline is getting short towards the solstice, so there was all this interference to me going there. And then I got there and I discovered that there's a big old fence, slightly rusty game fence, running exactly directly between the masculine and feminine polarities of that chakra point, of the Hara, the sacral chakra. you know, which, and it's just like, okay, you know, so I'm really, I have a feeling about next month. I think that, yeah, I'm very interested to move into next month, and well, I'm glad that we're doing this month first, but
An intense month though, right? Wow.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to get more intense before it gets gentle again. Yeah, but really good reflection and self-reflection, and you know, like, what are you gonna just not do what you have to do, what is like aligned with your highest purpose because you've got a swollen eye? You know, is it affecting your voice? You know, is it really? Is it really affecting your voice? You know, yeah, yeah. It's fascinating times we're living in now. Really fascinating times.
Yeah, there would be many different perspectives, I think, on that story, though. You know, some cultures would see a spider bite, you know, as an omen, you know, and others would say, no, you know, it's just you know, your issues coming to light, or yeah, it's, you know, there's lots of different perspectives there, but these are challenging times, and our commitment, I think, you know, the word disciple or discipline comes from the word disciple, being a disciple of the heart, following your purpose with determination and discipline. It's really a time to do that now. We all need to be disciples of the heart and to find the discipline to fulfill what we've come to do, you know, in whatever capacity that might be. You know, each of us has a different awareness of what brings meaning and purpose to our lives and where our love is, what we love in life. And the more you practice love, what you love, the more the universe supports you, really, because that's the energy we're heading towards. So these are the keys, right? Yeah. So it is a discipline.
Yeah, I'm going to remember that. That was a great thing that you just said. Thank you so much. Yeah.
It's challenging times, you know. We need encouragement from each other, support from each other, and you know, I had a client today. She just really, she felt, you know, I've done so much work. I get up every day and I'm so disciplined, and she really is. She has the will of an iron woman, really. And she said, I just don't understand why I'm having such a hard time. And her life is just, you know, she felt just such a mess. You know, she's having to move. She said she's got 4 of the 5 big catastrophes that you get happening in her life at the moment. And yet, in terms of my weekend clients, she was my easiest client that I had this week. So I was like looking at her and going like, wow, you know, it's the depth of because she's done so much work as well. So what was actually for me not really such a big deal, because of the amount of work she'd done, her perception was, you know, this is catastrophic. So once I told her, you know, you've been my easiest client this week, her perception completely shifted. And she was like, you're joking. I was like, no, absolutely. You've had the least interference of everybody. I know you're suffering, but, you know, you need to keep perspective here. We're all going through this together, and actually you're doing very well. That's the nice part, is we can hold each other in our hearts, you know, and know that we are co-creating. We are doing this together. Trust each other. And I do know that the divine hand of God is in perfection. I do know this.
Yeah, I get that as well.
We can trust the process. This is the evolution of consciousness. We learn, right? In whatever form it materializes and appears to us, we are learning. It is the school of earth. Yeah.
Not the easiest of schools, but a really good one.
Really tough one.
Yeah.
There's a more gentle one slightly northwest of here. For those that are eager or seeking.
Don't tell too many people. We might have a mass exodus. Yeah. Oh, it's really great to hear also that you're going to create this space for people to, and guidance for people to do the work themselves, because I also feel like that's so much about what's necessary now, the because there's people on the planet who can do a hell of a lot of good in terms of fixing things for other people and lining everything up and whatever, but ultimately, me personally, I want to do it I want to learn to do it for myself. I want to be able to, and I want to assist other people to do what I can do for themselves, and like the study of being human, and really moving into our beingness. I feel like that's also an invitation that we've got here now, that in this coming together of timelines that we're living through now. So it's fantastic. I'd really like to know when that's happening, and maybe even help to platform that, if you'd
thank you so
be
much.
open to that.
But experience is the teacher, right? Experience is the teacher. The experience of every lifetime is our wisdom. We know better because of our experiences. We know what causes pain and suffering, and we know, to make choices now that bring love. This is experience. So to create a space where people can experience it for themselves and learn for themselves how to do it, how to trust yourself, to know that you have the capability of doing it, is really the pathway. But also, I think, what's it, the rescuer. I can't rescue one person at a time. It's better to do a group where people learn to rescue themselves. Exactly. I would way prefer this. Make me very happy. So I've been figuring it out. It's actually on my website. I have the outline. I think it's 6 modules. I haven't looked at it quite a long time. And of how consciousness, following the principles of consciousness, I have a good understanding of how consciousness works. And to enable people. So I'll give the theory of how to, I'll teach people, okay, this is the theory, and then give them the opportunity. The teacher comes from my father. I'm Yahweh, I call him Father. And those teachings come from him. I've done a lot of very deep work to receive the teachings as well, so that, I do everything. It's very simple. It's not hard to do. The work that I'm going to do is not difficult to do. There's nothing complicated. Life is very simple once you know the principles. So it's just that, I suppose, having my gift to unlock and open the portals, open the timelines and align them, which I do through song, must be used at this. I'm getting to the stage now where I need to use my gifts at a wider level. Also, the nature spirits. We have the nature spirits. I want to sing the songs of the nature spirits to people so that they can know that this flower has the gift of forgiveness. The plants all have gifts. The elemental kingdom, that's what it's about. The plants are the power. They are who we are. And, to know that the rose is not the rose for the pattern of the rose is not love for no reason. It's because the design of it is, the smell of it is home in the heart. The tree of life patterning. I mean, the clues are there. The Bodhi tree, the Kabbalah tree of life, the tree of knowledge in the garden. The clues are there. So to bring in the trees, each tree has its own gift as well. Some are wisdom, some are tricksters, some are whatever you need to learn. It's all there in the nature spirits, and it's time for us to know our own divine nature, where there's no separation with Mother Nature, with Mother Earth. We are uniting with her. So I want to create a space to do that and to teach people, this is what we're doing. You have all of this in you.
Wonderful. I would like to talk to you more about that, because I'm creating a space called Thou Art, for teach learning, for things like this to be presented by whoever wants to come and present a course. Exactly, and I'd love for you to bring your content in there as well as wherever else you're putting it, so that the people who magnetize towards me and the other people who are in there or coming in there can also find what you're doing and add it into their practice.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Lauren. Yeah. We have to work together. This is community now. The more of us that stand together, the stronger we become, right? A group is much stronger than the individual.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, I think that we're nearly, we've got actually 10 minutes too. I'm gonna give the interviewing thing over to you and invite you to bring whatever it is that wants to come now.
Oh, well, I'm going to sing a song and then I'll tell you what I'm singing. I don't know what I'm going to sing.
Okay. Have you got a microphone your side so that it doesn't distort?
I have, but I don't know if it'll connect without. I don't know how to connect it with Zoom. Actually, I'm used to working with Audacity. So, but this is it's quite a good sound that I have here.
Okay, great.
Shall we give it a bash?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So sit back a bit. Maybe that will make a difference. So I'll tell you as I'm going along, I guess. I don't really have an intention. I'm getting a feeling that it's the tree of life patterning, because this is what we need at the moment. As above, so below. The deeper the roots, the more grounded we are into the darkness of the soils, the higher the branches climb into the light. And the tree, the leaves of the tree, Mother Nature is green, and so is the heart chakra. And the leaves receive the light, and they change that light into food for the branches, the body, and the roots of the tree. And this is what the heart does for us when we open our hearts to the light of our soul. So the tree of life is very powerful nature, in terms of our divine nature. This pattern is a very powerful design. So I'm going to sing a gift from Noya Rao, who is the tree of illumination, or known as the flying tree. It's got to do with wisdom, she says. Ay, ay, andandi, ay, ay, andando, ole, ay, andindi, andindo, ay, 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 andindai, ole, ay, ay, chiki, ay, ole, andandai, andale, andando, oye, 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 andando. Oh yeah, yo yeah, yeah, yo yeah, yo yeah, yeah, yo yeah, 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 yo yeah, 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 yo yeah, 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 yo yeah, yeah, yo yeah, 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 yo yeah, yeah, yo yeah, yo yeah, yo yeah. Oh, lenten, dien, dalen, dikieren, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, chicky eye. Yum, yo, oh, ya, you, ra, wow, wow, yo, wow, 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 you, wow, yo, wow, wow, you. Yo, wow, you, wow, you, wow, you, wow. Yo, ya, ya, tiki, yen, jing, yante, ole, ya, on, chiki, ya. Yum, mum, jia, you, wow, you, wow, jing, yan, to, wayan, jatiki, and I, do. Yum, wow, yung, kiki, ya, yam, pow, wow, you, wow, you, wow, chita, ya, on, tiki, ya, Hoti, chiki, tiki, wow, wow, you're wow, 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 wow. Chonto landan jandiki, tarando, yonjoko tarandiki, oh yeah, yo. Cheeky eye. So you could hear the blueprint of Yahweh in the beginning. And then I went into the sounds of creation of the avatars, pushing the light threads to connect. And then finally, there were lots of white butterflies for liberation of the spirit. Yeah, it's a great blessing. So thank you to Noya Ra, honoring her.
Thank you.
And to the Elohim for the codes, and to the avatars for their support and guidance. You know, I'm a medium, right? I'm just a medium. The powers and the light on. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much also. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so I think that's good. Yeah. So you'll find Maraya's contacts and some more information, just a bit of a description in the description below the video. And how you can get in touch with her if you want to. I know that you've got a donate button also on your website if you want to support the work that she's doing as well, and subscribe to her email list so that you can know when she's going to be doing these group works and things like this. And please do go and explore and come a little closer. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate being, your support. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, and wishing you all the best with your journey forward. Eh?
So much. I feel like I'm coming into position properly now. I've been it's taken me a while, but I'm glad to be coming into position now. Thank you.
Papa na, Yana, Jema Marina.